Welcome to a Gobbet Opus number 6 from September 13th, 2008, Chicken Feed. I wrote this blog entry back in 2008, but I'm recording this on September the 2nd, 2009, and I am boku aggravated. I've been a Mac user forever. I have a functioning 128K original Mac, and every time I've upgraded, things have gotten better. But Snow Leopard has been a royal pain in the patootie to get functioning. Let me tell you, I've just pissed away 2 days, and I think I got some things working right, but other things, not so much. But it's not bad enough to go to Windows or even Linux. Anyway, on to the podcast. Last call of the day yesterday. Before I turn off my beeper for a weekend of kids' soccer and Saccharomyces, I had a case of bad colitis. Well, not me, but an elderly man who had been admitted to the hospital with a case of bloody diarrhea. So bad, they worried he had bowel ischemia. He was placed on ciprofloxacin and metronidazole, and he did not improve, so he obtained a CAT scan that demonstrated a severe pancolitis. After a couple of days, his stool cultures had grown Campylobacter jejunii. No big deal, case closed, a relatively common cause of a severe bacillary diarrhea. What is interesting is that the organism is resistant to ciprofloxacin, and what is even more interesting is potentially the why. Antibiotic resistance can occur from many mechanisms. Most of our antibiotics are derived from molecules that exist in bacteria. The microbiologic world is in constant competition with each other, and some compete by producing antibiotics to kill off the competition. The drug companies modify these natural antibiotics so they have better pharmacologic properties. But as a defense in the wild, bacteria also have to make products that prevent the antibiotic from either killing them or, more importantly, from killing themselves. So if you make an aminoglycoside, you don't want it to kill yourself. So in turn, you develop mutations to prevent yourself from dying from antibiotics. There is an ongoing low-grade battle in the dirt and in your colon between the production of antibiotics and anti-antibiotics. There was an article in Science that suggests that the number of potential resistance genes that are seen clinically pales in comparison to the number of genes available in the wild. Bacterial species, of course, can exchange DNA very easily and put them to use, so there is a large reservoir of resistance genes just waiting to jump into human pathogens given the right opportunity. Infectious diseases is nothing if not applied evolution. The other way we breed resistance is to induce mutations in organisms by exposing them to low levels of antibiotics. In the microbial world, just like in Germany, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Low levels of chronic antibiotics can lead to a variety of mutations that make antibiotics less active. And this mechanism is independent of new gene acquisition. The Borg were wrong. Resistance is not futile, it is inevitable. And because bacteria out-multiply us, they have the evolutionary advantage over any antibiotic we can throw at them. I once did a rough calculation on the back of an envelope. Actually, I think it was a piece of notebook paper. And figured that about 30 years of reproduction for bacteria is about 6 million years for human beings. We have come a long way in 6 million years. Can you say Lucy? I thought you could. We intensify this battle by adding huge amounts of antibiotics into the world. Some we give to people, but even more is given in agriculture. In the United States, 70%, yeah, 70, of antibiotics are used in agriculture as low-level antibiotics in chicken and other animal and vegetable feed, because this leads to bigger, healthier, some will argue this point, animals that go to slaughter sooner. You get your cheap 8-pound fryer at Safeway, in part because we have been putting small amounts of antibiotics into chicken feed, which makes bigger chickens faster. And this leads us back to Campylobacter. When quinolones are used in chicken feed, resistance develops quickly due to a simple amino acid substitution. This mutation can occur within days of exposure to the antibiotic and last for weeks even after the antibiotics are stopped, and resistant organisms can be found in the chicken at the time of slaughter. Some places have found resistant Campylobacter in grocery chickens approaching 50%. The agricultural industry has long argued that there is no proven connection between animal antibiotic use and human antibiotic resistance, and have fought for years any attempt to ban antibiotics. Go Bayer. By the way, cigarettes do not cause cancer. But for quinolones, and ciprofloxacin is a class of antibiotics called a quinolone, the data is clear enough that Campylobacter resistance seen in human disease was from quinolone use in animal feed that now it was banned in animal feed. The ban is a good thing, and many of the bacterial causes of diarrhea, salmonella, shigella, are often found in the colons of the animals that we love to eat and to whom we give tons of antibiotics, breeding further resistance. I always bear in mind that everything we eat has a fine layer of either human or animal stool on it. Bon appetit. One hopes that without the ongoing pressure of quinolones in the chicken feed, that because the resistance is costly to the organism and often resistant organisms do not multiply as quickly, that the Campylobacter will revert to susceptible again. This happened in Australia, but is not always the case. The relevant reference for this particular article comes from Science, January 2006, volume 311, page 374, sampling the antibiotic resistome.